friends, my name is Jessica and I'm the creative founder of OT Genius. For those of you who do not know me, I am an occupational therapist, and what we do at OT Genius is help pre-occupational therapy students get into OT school successfully, and we help create financially savvy clinicians. That's what we do. We're very proud of what we do. We've helped already many people pay off their student loans quick and start OT school debt-free, create their own scholarships. That's what our focus is, and that's what we're really trying to do. So like that, there is no burden when it comes to the student loans, right? And it brings me to the topic of today of student loans. So if you are a pre-OT, occupational therapy student, or current clinician and have student loans, you may want to listen up. And especially if you are feeling deflated about these student loans and you feel like you're making these payments and you're not making a dent in these student loans. And I'll just say that if that's you, you probably are just not using the right payoff strategies, because when I graduated OT school, I had about $95,000 in debt, and I have cut that into about 45 using some of the methods that I've been using. And I'm not going to be talking about the methods today. That will be for a different time and location, but I want to start with why you should pay off your student loans. And the reason why I want to start with this is because I believe if you have a why in your life as to why you want to do that, that's going to serve as an intrinsic motivator and get you to move closer to the goal of paying off your student loans. If you don't really know why you should do it, then why are you going to do it in the first place if you don't really have that motivator, right? And so, whether it's to make your mama proud or make yourself proud, there's different things that really motivate us to do things in our lives. Hopefully one of these 5 will be enough to really get you on gear and really push you to reaching the goal of being student loan free. So that's why I wanted to talk about why you should do it. And I think that it's just comes with a lot of perks. So I'm going to be sharing these perks, and hopefully it'll just show you why you should join the payoff game, right? Pay your student loan off game. Number 1, when you pay your student loans off fast, and by fast I mean less than 10 years, the standard rate, you actually pay less for the degree in the end. And I don't know about you, but I want to pay less for my degree. I'd rather pay $68,000, let's say, for an occupational therapy degree than $98,000 because of interest, right? So you pay less for the degree in the end that you got, right? I don't want to pay more because these student loan companies just keep charging me interest for lending me the money to do so, right? It's taking away my ability to build wealth, right? And if you pay the minimum for 25 years, even if you pay the minimum for those 25 years, yes, you maybe have more room to breathe in terms of your cash flow, but really you're losing a lot of money in the end and stifling your ability to build wealth because you're paying more for the degree in the long run, right? So you could easily in interest pay $30,000, $40,000 in interest for a degree, and that's just crazy, right? I'd rather keep those $30,000, $40,000 in my pocket and be able to invest it, right? So, which brings me to my next point is when you pay off your student loans fast, you get increased cash flow. So what that basically means is that when you pay off your student loans, you no longer have a student loan payment. So what that means for you is that you can now use that extra money to do more of the things that you want. Maybe that's to actually, go on a vacation or invest in different things such as your 401k, Roth IRA, a mutual fund, the stock market, whatever it is, real estate, right? Whatever moves you, right, in terms of investment. So when you have that increased cash flow because you no longer have a student loan payment, you can actually invest more. So this one right here is more for the people that say, well, I'm going to put less into the student loans and put more into my investments because that's what's going to start generating me more wealth. While there is truth to you building wealth when you're investing, I'm going to ask you something. Let's say your student loan payment is $600 a month. And after all that and whatnot, you have $400 to invest, and you're putting those $400 into investment, right, every month. Now, if you get rid of that student loan payment, how much can you invest? $1,000. Wouldn't that be awesome, right? Because you got rid of this sucker, now you can actually put more into these investments, whether, like I said, real estate, 529s for your kids' education, whatever it is, Roth IRAs, 401ks. There's a bunch of other things that you can invest in, and that's a whole different topic. But when you are investing, that's how you create generational wealth. And this is why student loans are such a hot topic. It's because student loans actually stifle your ability to build wealth because you're still making these monthly payments. And if you're making these monthly payments for 25 years, that's 25 years of you not having an extra cash flow of money that you can put towards investing. And this specifically affects more specifically people of color and their ability to build generational wealth, right? So this is a huge deal. And if you increase your cash flow, then you can actually put more toward building wealth in your life and leaving a legacy for your children, or leaving a legacy just in this world, right? And even if you don't want to have children in the future and whatnot, like, you can still leave a legacy on this earth and build wealth and donate to your favorite charity and organizations and be the change that you want to see in the world, right? So I think that's a really intrinsic motivator that moves me as well. It's a really good one, right? It's a really good intrinsic motivator. Hopefully it moves you too and just kind of gives you a little bit more of that vision and desire to, yes, I want to do that. I want increased cash flow. So if you want increased cash flow, get rid of this sucker, right? So reason number 3, you got financial peace. When you get financial peace, that's a good thing, right? Because I don't know about you, but I like financial peace, right? And I know that, unfortunately, and my heart goes out to these people, that people have been needing to choose between paying the rent and defaulting on their loans. And, you know, that's a really tough position to be in, that you need to pay rent and you're like, dang, I can't pay the student loan, so I'm going to default on it because everything in this country is now essentially going up because of inflation, right? Gas prices are going up, car prices are going up, grocery prices are going up. And, you know, housing, don't even get me started on that, right? Mortgages and the housing market and rent and stuff like that. It's all just getting so crazy. And it just shows why you really need to get rid of the sucker, because with everything going up and you still have these payments, that's going to decrease your room to breathe financially. When you have room to breathe, you have more peace in your life and you are less likely to be in the position of, man, do I pay my student loans or do I pay for the, like food, right? Like, it just, you're less likely to be in that predicament because you have this extra cash flow that we talked about earlier, and it creates just more room for you to breathe and can account for the inflation that is occurring. So get rid of this crap, man. You got to get rid of this crap if you're going to build wealth, right? So reason number 4, I really like this one too, just because I don't know about you, but I like to call the shots in my life, and I don't like the government telling me that I need to work for a certain type of company for a certain amount of time, because what if I want to move? So when you are no longer making student loan payments, you're no longer dependent on public student loan forgiveness. Now, this is not to say that I am not for public student loan forgiveness, right? This is just my personal opinion. Right now, at least, I believe that it should be forgiven and canceled, right? Just to help out a generation that has really been hurt by this, right? So, but that is a totally different topic, and it does not take away from the fact that you should not be dependent on it. Because the fact of the matter is that when it comes to public student loan forgiveness, only 2% of people have gotten it. That means 98% have applied and have just not received it for multiple reasons. And many of these reasons have to do with certain things like, well, maybe the 501c3 or the nonprofit organization that you're asked to work for to qualify for public student loan forgiveness goes under. Now you lost your public student loan forgiveness qualification because you did not work for a 501c3 for 10 years. What if within those 10 years you get offered a increased salary of like $30,000 elsewhere? And what are you going to do? Are you going to just stay at that same 501c3 with the same pay, with the same pay, and while accounting for inflation? And just because you want it to be forgiven by public student loan forgiveness, and the likelihood of that happening is still very rare, like, are you just not going to take that pay increase? You know what I mean? Like, what if your spouse needs to move and he or she gets transferred somewhere else, right? So you need to account for this stuff, and just keep in mind that it's not really practical to set your life on this plan that in 10 years it's going to be paid off. Like, it's a very bad plan because life happens. Let's just call it and say what it is. Call it out for what it is, right? So, not a really solid plan. You're no longer dependent on it. So again, while I do personally believe student loans should be forgiven, I don't think it's a solid plan to depend on it because it's just not happening. So why continuously just wait and continue to stifle your ability to build wealth when you can pay it off faster than the 10 years anyway, if you implement some of the strategies that I'll be talking about as we go on in future videos to build wealth and to increase your income as an occupational therapist. So that's a big one. Number 5, bragging rights. I don't know about you, but I know that when I get these student loans paid off, I'm going to shout it out from the rooftops. I'm going to be so excited, and I am going to go ahead and tell my mama, tell my friends. I'll be like, I'm not free, right? It's going to be a party, right? It's going to be a party. And why? Because I know I've hit a major milestone. So I know that I'm going to go celebrate with the husband. I know that I'm going to go and maybe have a nice dinner, go on a little nice vacation for a little bit, right? Because now I have the cash flow to do it. I have more financial peace and more ability to do it. And I earned it. I have bragging rights. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to go do stupid things with my money instead of investing and stuff like that. But I have bragging rights, right? It just gives you another thing to celebrate. So if you believe that, man, I just want to be able to say it, like I want to prove people wrong that it is possible, then do it. You'll have bragging rights. I hope that one of these 5 things, whether it's that you want to pay less for the degree, or whether it is that you want to call the shots more in your life and not be dependent on the government, or whether you want more financial peace in your life, or you want the bragging rights, whatever it is, hopefully one of these 5 things really stood out to you and will move you to make the decisions in your life and take action to pay off these student loans. So that's the why. All right. We really need to start with the why. Why should you do this? All right. So with that said, I also have more good news for you. If this is something that now you're like, man, I really should do it, I really, really should, then go ahead, come join me in my webinar on November 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the link is in the description box down below. You can register for it there. And if it's past November 5th, you can still, register for it later on. And, I'll be doing it again. And just keep an eye out and just go ahead. This is the first start in your journey to paying off these student loans fast. If this is what you want, this is what we're going to be talking about on November 5th, right? We're going to be talking about increasing your income as an occupational therapist, and we're going to also be talking about some of the payoff strategies that I have been using in order to really pay these student loans off quickly and still not be burdened. So, that's what we're going to be talking about. And I just think it's really important just because I know, many of us didn't envision a career that when we got into it, that we would have to maybe postpone a lot of things like buying a house. And I'll just even have you know, guys, just random tidbit here, that having student loans, it can actually stifle your ability to buy a home. I don't know if you guys know that, but so it's a big deal. It's a big deal about what's going on, and you really need to get rid of this stuff in order to change the trajectory, the financial trajectory of your life. And it's more than about money, but about having the career and the lifestyle that you envision, right? So if this is what you want, go ahead. Again, the link is in the description box down below. I'll see you then or in the next video. Have a great one.